This is about the various types of 3D printed ammunition that I have experimented with. First, you have a fitted type, and as you can see, it fits directly into the rail. It cannot leave that rail until it actually leaves the device. This type can be fully 3D printed with nothing but infill to add weight, or it can use enclosed metal rods to add weight. Now on to weighing them. The single piece infill only type comes in at 150 grains. And the dual infill only type is two pieces glued together, comes in at 213 grains. Now this one has a 25mm rod in it, and it comes in at 113 grains. Next we have one with a 75mm rod, and that comes in at 207 grains. Next, a 100mm rod, and that comes in at 248 grains. And finally, this one has a 150mm rod in it, I believe, and that is coming in at 352 grains. Now next we have these inexpensive pistol crossbow bolts that you can get on sites like Amazon. I know these aren't 3D printed, but the reason I am including them is because of these 3D printed speed loaders. And we'll get to the idea behind these shortly. This is demonstrating how the bolt can be added to the speed loader. It's simply pressed fit, and then you're ready to load at this point. Now this is a triple shot device, and it's a great device, but the main problem is that it's almost impossible to load the bottom two rails by hand. And with a speed loader, it makes it very easy to load a rail. You don't have to get your hand anywhere near it. You can just go like that and pop it off. It makes it easy to load a bottom rail because, again, you can just slide it in like that and twist it, and it pops right off. Now to weigh these bolts, the only modification I've made is I've trimmed the fins a bit so they can be used on a typical sling bow, and they come in at around 130 grain. And finally, this type of ammunition is based on a 10mm dowel. It has a 3D printed front and back that uses vase mode. This is the 6-inch variety. The 1-foot variety, and the other thing is that these fins in the back are helical, that they're meant to spin the bolt as it flies through the air. And these are designed to imitate broadheads. They always break on impact. They're single use only. These bolts can be used on a typical crossbow. Here I am actually loading them onto a sling crossbow. Just pull it back and then twist it off. In reality, you're going to be behind the crossbow when you're loading it, so again, just put it in and twist it off. And these bolts have slingshot BBs added to them in order to increase the weight. With no BB, the 6-inch variety comes in at 148, and with 1 BB, it's coming in at 201 grain. The one with 2 BBs is coming in at 259 grain. And finally, the fake broadhead is coming in at 201 grain. And finally, we have the 1-foot variety based around a 10mm dowel. With 1 BB, this comes in at 343 grain, and with 2 BBs, it's coming in at 384 grain. So this is starting to get into crossbow bolt territory, where it could be safely fired out of a composite crossbow. Now we're looking at, for 3 BBs, it is 429 grain. That's kind of like a mid-weight crossbow bolt, light mid-weight. And with 4 BBs, it's coming in at 453 grain. Again, kind of like a mid-weight crossbow bolt. And finally, the fake broadhead. It comes in at 348 grain. And here is some quick video of these various devices being fired. First, we have the 3-shot. Unloaded and loaded. And this is a standard size sling bow firing the 10mm dowel bolts. The first few shots are using the lighter bolts, and so they do tend to fly a bit high. Also note that I've cut out a lot of the reloading. In reality, you cannot get this kind of rate of fire with this device. If you're worried about rate of fire, you shouldn't be using something like this. And these last 3 shots are all with heavier bolts, just to show you what the accuracy looks like.